everybody. Look, doesn't it look like Atlantis? Everybody walking to the beach. We will see how it is. I haven't seen it yet. Let me put on my headphones. A little bit of a walk and a bug in my eyelashes. Can you hear me? Whew. So today's topic of the day, can you guys hear me? Hello? I apologize for no selfie stick. Hi, Revel to Expand. Thanks for joining. Hi, Voditus. Thank you for letting me know. We are almost to the beach. And I already have dry mouth. Need to have my soda. How's everybody today? I have a whole list of topics. Do you know Art Fan Grow? No, what is that? Is that a channel? Art Van Grow. Is that kind of a play on Vince Van Gogh? Is that an artist in a van? Let's see, how do we get to the beach? How do we get to the beach? It looks kind of thunderstormy. We'll let some people fill in, and then I'll get to the topic of the pod. People. She's a van life YouTuber. You know what's weird is I don't get a whole lot of van life videos recommended to me. I do watch that Katie chick who has the goat, and she just bought a laundromat. I didn't watch the video, I just kind of looked at the thumbnail, but ooh, public access. Boing, nice. All right, let's not get hit by cars. He was about to hit me. He was trying to kill me. All right, nobody trying to kill me. Here we go. No, what's her story? This other van lifer. Do you know where she's at right now? There's kind of van life people that travel and van life people that stay put. Oh, it's getting to be a storm. Hurricane conditions. So I don't have service. Oh boy. Well, let's see. Where should I park? where should I park to talk about the pod people? Podcasters, pod generation. Yeah, I forgot about the podcasting. Hereabouts we go over here. And then we'll get into the topic. How's everybody's Saturday going today? Sand's kind of nice here. It's better than it was in Folly Beach. And we'll start talking about the pod people, podcasters, matrix pods, sleeping pods. Do you guys have any other pod? There's like vegetable pods, snow pea pods, snap pea pods, pea pods. All right, I think this is a good spot. Give you guys a little peek of my scene here. It goes and goes and goes. How far? Nobody knows. All right. All right, let me get set up. I got my notes. I got my drinks. I got battery pack. This is my notes. All right, let's get a drink first. First things first. Coconut soda. Put this in here like this, and then we'll talk about the pod people, just like this. We're about to expand. You guys there? Okay. Got my notes. Uno momento, por favor, peeps. I'm kind of on like this hill. There we go. It's like looking up my nose. It's a very interesting topic that I've been meaning to talk about for a while now, about pod people. And Melissa from Awakening Leela channel, my friend in England, she recently, like, synchronistically posted a thing about the pod people with the attached picture of POD, the band's album. I don't know if you remember POD, the like Jehovah's Witness rock band. Oh no, it's raining. But Their album cover, which I have on the thumbnail of this video, it's like a butterfly woman with a rose and a crown, and it has like Sanctus on a banner, and which means holy in Latin, and it says payable on death. That's what POD stands for, payable on death. And you think about what's like super trending right now is these podcasters, payable on death. It's like, what does payable on death mean? It's kind of the nature of this realm of the own nothing and be happy kind of mentality, where you take out loans for the things that you have or that you want, and then because so much interest is charged, most people end up dying with debt on these items, and the bank not only takes the money owed, but they also take the item, payable on death. And for the most part, it's these people's bodies that are used as payment, I think, or their blood is payment, or maybe their souls. So then also synchronistically was, are you guys still there? Also synchronistically was the movie link that I just shared of the Pod Generation movie, of basically the, hi Love Learn Grow, thanks for joining, of the incubator babies. It's basically a movie about Black Helicopter. It's raining, it's raining. Basically the incubator babies, where they choose to have the baby in this egg, basically, or a pod, where they carry it around in like a baby Bjorn sling kind of thing, instead of having a natural pregnancy. I guess because in the future women don't want the inconvenience of a pregnancy, or like stopping their jobs or something, I don't know. And this ties in, I think the company that we've all seen the 3D animation advertisement, was it New Life or something like that, where they had the incubator babies, where you could like 24/7 like view them via your app, and like, you know, all their Ectolife, thank you, yeah, Ectolife. So this movie Pod Generation is basically like that, about a couple wanting a baby via an egg, in vitro egg. And I guess in the trailer, the information comes through the mother is having problems with her dreams, and then she finds out that these babies that are hatched out of these artificial eggs don't dream. And so yeah, so there was something maybe like connected with the soul or unconscious, something like that, with these babies grown outside of the womb. So going to pod people, first kind of you go to this matrix psyop that I think we were all sold, and for the most part adopted as reality back in 2015 to 2017, of the matrix, what I guess you would call it, red pill theory, that this is a simulation, and that our bodies, our true bodies, are actually in a slumber in pods in the real world, and our bodies are being utilized by AI robots or some kind of alien technology as batteries, as a battery power source. And while they utilize our body as a battery source from birth to death, the whole time our mind is occupied with a AI simulation of basically the Western world circa 1999. Having jobs, having lives with children, and, you know, the regular life. And then, of course, Neo decides to take the red pill, and he wakes up in his pod with basically an intubation. Hi, Instacart Shuckles, where he pulls out the breathing tube, feeding tube, and then all of his chakras are connected with mechanical inputs down his spine. And then, you know, this is also kind of metaphoric for the Kundalini chakra system, or the synthetic implants that some New Age people talk about in our chakras. But then when Neo awakens in his pod, this triggers the AI overlord robots to go to his pod and essentially flush his body, because he's no longer he no longer can be used as the battery source. The same idea of pods, I think, was also sold in the New Age community, specifically Devin, Madgy, Slumber has pushed this idea of our true bodies being in a Hyperborean slumber, and Hyperborea being the Garden of Eden, or the realm underneath this realm, which is eternal twilight, that I think you get to through the North Pole, or maybe through other inner Earth passages. I think also the Rainbow Bridge is supposed to go to Hyperborea. Hyperborea also can be synonymous, I think, with the Viking Valhalla. I always get confused because it seems like Hyperborea is beneath, and then a lot of realm, like a lot of cultures have the ascended realm above. So so Devin, Madgy had pushed this idea that we were running this simulation, that our bodies are in pods. Slumber has pushed this same exact theory, but instead of our bodies being in Hyperborea, she says our bodies are in pods on airships, and kind of like a Star Trek, like Enterprise. So Star Trek had the Starship Enterprise was the spaceship that they traveled in, and then they had hologram decks. Where you could go into a hologram basically and enter a whole simulation. So she's saying that we're like in a slumber in some hologram deck right now, but it's all under this same congruency that we're asleep, and this goes along, you know, with waking up, the conscious awakening, ascension, Christ risen. And this, of course, ties into the whole fairy tale, Sleeping Beauty, the I Pit Goat 2, Snow White, of bodies being in pods or caskets, asleep in a slumber, in a medicated state, in a anesthesia, in a coma. Coma was soma. Soma was the drug in A Brave New World for the Zetas. And it's funny that the channel Morgue official pushes that we're all turning into Zetas, these unified consciousness. I was like, you realize Zetas were like the lowly on the pecking order of people in A Brave New World. So I'm kind of going out of order, but back to the eating of the apple is, you know, obviously the Eve story. It's also the Snow White story. The Sleeping Beauty got pricked by the spindle, needle, the needle on the spindle, and usually the spell of slumber is broken with romantic love. But it's funny is that usually they're put into pods or caskets. This kind of supports the whole necrophilia motif of the realm, this heavy obsession with death and resurrection, the Jesus Mithra story of death and rebirth. And this is mirrored, you know, in the life cycle of insects, of was it insects and yeah, pretty much insects are the only ones that do the cocoon, the pupa cocoon, and then breaking through the egg or the chrysalis into the newly transformed being. But these are all pod. It's like a exoskeleton, even the auric fields fit into this. The cosmic egg, a shell around you, a pod. But I don't like this idea that we're asleep. We have two bodies and we're asleep. You know, this idea of bodies being asleep is represented in so many movies, especially space movies, like the movie Passengers, or with Jennifer Lawrence and what's his face? You know, the guy from the Guardians of the Galaxy. Where they're in a hyper slumber to travel through space so that they don't age while they're traveling. This idea that you can slow time with sleep, medications, pressure. Basically, the people are put into a coma to bypass time and to also travel through the abyss, which is space. This is, you know, also in the movie Alien, the movie, like so many movies, Kubrick's movies, where the space travelers wake up in pods after a very long light years journey of their ship through deep space. And usually there's something wrong with the pods with some of the characters upon awakening. Like the pod had a leak, somebody woke up too early and they aged out, and everybody who woke up is young, and the one guy that woke up early is old. This is in, like, I think Planet of the Apes, they're in pods. A lot of space travel movies They wake up in pods, sleeping chambers, hyperbaric chambers. And this goes all the way back to, like I said, the cosmic egg, the auric egg. What hatches from eggs are, well, insects, you could say, hatch from eggs and cocoons in two ways during their life cycle. Reptiles hatch from eggs, birds hatch from eggs. The shell. Lots of religious paintings and depictions of the saints, Mother Mary, Madonna, Jesus Christ, Joseph. They're represented in an egg, usually, kind of like with their hands like this, with a crown, and then they're in an egg, and then usually there's two towers framing the egg. And you could say, oh, that's their auric field. But I think it's something more. Insects also have an exoskeleton, which is a skeleton on the outside, or you could say a shell, like crustaceans. Fish also hatch from eggs, but they have soft shells. To me, the egg in between two pillars signifies the anode, cathode, and the electrical arc that's created between two electrical poles. The currency, the arc of electricity is the egg. It could be, a force field. Usually when we think of our aura, we think of eggs, or a shell in the shape of an egg around you. See if I... Also, it's kind of the same of these pods are like flower buds. How it's a closed kind of egg shape, and then it cracks open to reveal the new product. But going back to the pods being payable on death, and the Jesus programming, the sleeping, putting your body in a casket when you die, or putting a shell around the body when you die. Like saying you give your soul to the Lord, or you give your life to the Lord, or you give your life to God. That's kind of like saying payable on death. And what does podcasting mean? It's funny that, like, I can have a YouTube channel and make videos about stuff, about whatever I want to talk about my life. But if I just stick a fuzzy microphone in front of my face and I label it podcast 1, apparently it's going to get way more views than if I just have a natural video. Like, why is it more popular to pretend to release an audio file as a podcast, iTunes, iPod, MP3 audio first before filming it as a video and releasing it as a video on YouTube? Like, it's like more valuable now to be a podcaster and like having like a fake radio show that you're filming anyways. Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. It's like, but this programming of it's like a necrophiliac, being like transmitting from an enclosed, very close shell. It's not even an apartment. It's like a pod. You're like inside your little shell, like in the fetal position with headphones in your like Ectolife chamber, transmitting from your egg. And I guess that's supposed to give you some kind of comfort. Casting, it's that, you know, fishing is casting, the Jesus fish. Oh, I guess so. When a trans woman is feeling like she's looking really cisgendered, when she's looking really, really female, like you can't tell, they say they're serving fish. Have you heard that? Say, I'm serving fish today. I'm serving fish. That means that they really look feminine and you can't tell. They're serving you fish. Very interesting. Serving you Jesus fish. Love, Learn, and Grow says the slavery of our spirits and the minds, feeding off our energy. Loosh, yeah. Chalk Body Outline saying movies aren't real. Love, Learn, and Grow says they tell us a story which can be key for spiritual freedoms. Bodhita says, however you slice it, it seems we are forced into this realm. Jian Tot says, why is there no video with picture? Can you guys see me? Love, Learn, and Grow says, I think it is less force, but an experience to give reference to. Oh, is my video gone? You can't see me right now, it's black. Oh, great. Oh, well. All right, well, I'll end it there. Sorry, I thought it was video transmitting. All right, well, love you guys all.